I had two conversations with Gemini this week that saved me a lot of mental energy. The first was about a LinkedIn post. A creator I follow, someone with a massive reach, posted something that aligned perfectly with what I'm doing here. I wanted to weigh in, but when you're posting on a high traffic thread, you need to be precise. I didn't want to just leave a general comment or a thumbs up. I used AI to help me calibrate my tone so my response was professional, supportive, but also made my point clearly. The second one was more of a strategy shift. I knew I needed to update my LinkedIn profile to reflect this new focus on this AI channel, but I was stuck on the branding, specifically the icon, how to fit in without cluttering up my personal page. So I went looking for a graphic, but through our conversation, Gemini came back and challenged my approach. He basically came back and said, setting the channel up as a company page is a better option instead of just a personal update. Didn't even think about that. So it allowed me to build the brand without overriding my own profile. It's the ideal solution what I was looking for. In both cases, I wasn't starting from scratch. All the context that I worked on prior to this carried forward, which in turn made this much easier than Googling for a template or a how-to guide or watching another YouTube video, etc. Hi, I'm John. I'm a retired tech exec who uses AI daily for personal stuff. I use it as a thinking partner. I'm sharing these examples with you so you can do the same thing. Let me walk you through these conversations. I started with a standard framework: role, objective, and task. And the most important part was at the end, where I told Gemini to emphasize using AI as a thinking partner. I wasn't just asking for a comment. I was setting the guardrails for my specific philosophy. Initial response, option 1. This response was okay, but it felt like a bunch of AI fluff. It was maybe just a little too enthusiastic, not really what I was looking for. I wanted to tie it to my reply to a specific point in a post by a CIO that also posted on it. And this is where the thinking part really happens. I'm asking this AI to help me bridge my perspective with the CIO's point of view so they come together. They complement each other, and not just a simple thumbs up. In this screenshot, I told it, hey, we're almost there, but it was still missing the mark. It used common AI habits like the word hype or the overconnecting ideas or those darn dashes. It felt like a machine trying to be clever. It was missing a direct, seasoned perspective. I wanted straight talk that sounds like a person who has actually been in the room, not a program that just read about it. In these next couple of screenshots, you can see where I begin to get picky. I asked it to change the tone and wordsmith a little bit and how I mentioned prompts. I realized I didn't want to talk about the technical prompt because it's a whole other discussion. What I really wanted was to talk about using conversations. So I then coached the AI to stop acting like a software tool and really start acting like a collaborator. Work with me. Final version, it's ready. And this one works because it's precise. It incorporated all the comments and the conversations that we had to get it where it's at. And if you notice, I didn't have to go back and re-explain every time because it knows who I am, knows what the channel's about, and it knows all the context and history that we've been working on together. The context carries forward from our earlier chats. This made the whole process way faster than starting from scratch, and obviously much better than a Google search. So, getting the words right for a reply is one thing, but sometimes the conversation just takes a totally different turn and actually changes your entire strategy. I realized that if I was going to be active on LinkedIn or continue to be active in LinkedIn now that I'm retired, I needed to update my profile to reflect this channel without cluttering up my own personal page. That led to a whole new conversation about branding. I didn't even expect it. Let me take you through it. This conversation was a little unique, a little frustrating to be honest with you too, because when I first started off, AI Gemini basically ignored the files that I uploaded. And it gave me a really generic, cartoonish type of output. Nothing what I was going for. So my ultimate goal was I wanted a professional icon for a new LinkedIn company page that I had to create. I needed to feel connected to this channel. So I proceeded to give Gemini my current thumbnails and a relaxed headshot to kind of set the stage. Now, when it went off and did by itself, this is what happens when AI stops thinking with you, and just starts generating stuff. You guys have all heard about hallucination. Some major hallucinations going on here. It ignored my style, and when this happened, I'm like, all right, stop. We just got to stop this and reset the conversation. All right, here's time to shift things. I told AI I didn't want another headshot. I want to go into a different direction to use a specific thumbnail from a previous video instead. I wanted people to see a media project, not just another guy's profile picture. This was about using Gemini here to help me build out a brand identity that felt bigger than just me, more aligned to the channel. All right, at this point, I needed to give it a little bit more direction and kind of begin to refine, get a better output of really what I'm looking for. So I pushed back on the language again. I didn't want to use the word collaborate. It was a little bit too vague, maybe a little bit too corporate. So I started steering it towards thinking and not searching, which is really in line with my channel, the mission of my channel. I gave it very specific directions. Remove my picture entirely and aim for optimism. I really want to change the tone. You see a lot of tension on YouTube thumbnails, and that's just driving me nuts. So I used AI to help me build this visual style that was just the opposite, something that's inviting, calm, and practical. Well, final outcome. We landed on AI, your thinking partner, not your search tool. It's direct, it's personal, and by the time we got here, I hadn't just made an icon, I had refined the entire mission statement for my LinkedIn presence. It was a really cool experience. Here's the final pick. Both of these sessions were a lot of back and forth. I just didn't accept a cool image. I didn't accept the post that was put out there. I used AI to test different ways. I challenged AI, told it things I liked, told it things I didn't like. Different ways of presenting this project to the world until we found the one that really felt right, the most authentic. It's about taking control of the tool, not the other way around. If you're using AI as a thinker in your own life, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a line in the comments. Until next time, take care.